loves, and welcome to my channel, Makeup by Nessa. So I'm super excited. Yesterday I was practicing this look. It was like a cobalt blue smoky eye. I didn't really know if I was gonna like it, and I ended up liking it, and I put it on Snapchat, and I got a whole bunch of messages asking me to do a tutorial on how to achieve that look. So this video is for the cobalt blue smoky eye. So if you're interested, then keep on watching. So I've already moisturized and now I'm going to prime. I always use about 2 primers because I'm dry combination oily. So I always use a different primer on my T-zone because that's where I get super oily, and then around the areas where I get really dry, I use a really moisturizing one. So for my T-zone, I usually grab my trusty Becca Ever Matte Poreless Primer, and I'm just gonna put this on my T-zones. And that's the amount that I'm going to put on. And for my pores, I like to use the Photo Finish Foundation Primer. It's the purple one from Smashbox. I like to put a little small amount on the back of my hands, and especially where my pores are pretty huge, which are right here. I like to really pat that in. And then I spray the Photo Finish Primer water. Just to prime the rest of my face. And now we are set to put our foundation on. So I'm going to use my beauty blender as always. The foundation that I'm going to be using is the Makeup Forever HD foundation. Unfortunately, I am a little tan, so this might be a little off, but I will be applying a couple drops of a darker foundation. Let me see first. So I'm going to mix in with my foundation is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Bronzing Beauty Balm. It looks like this. I'm actually going to mix it into my foundation. Just a tad bit. Now I'm actually going to apply this with a beauty blender and just pat that into my skin. It's still a little tad bit light, but it's okay because I will be applying bronzer and contour, which will warm up my skin. I forgot to mention the shade that I'm using, and this is the N145. Bringing this down my neck. I've never tried this combination, and I'm loving it. It looks super natural, like not dewy but not too matte either. Put whatever is left on my eyelids. So now we're gonna start using my favorite Tarte Shape Tape concealer in the shade Light Medium. I thought it was a little too light for me, but I think it's perfect. I don't use too much, I just dot it. It doesn't take much to blend this concealer out, and that is what I love about it. Now I'm just going to apply it in areas that I want to highlight, like my chin, the bridge of my nose. And there we go. So now I'm just going to set my concealer and the rest of my face. To set my under eyes, I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier Air Translucent Powder. And I'm just going to be using a Morphe E49. So now to set my foundation, I'm going to be using the Studio Max Fix in the color NC35. I'm just going to be using an Echo Tools all over face brush. And just lightly powder it. Now let's start with the eyes. So I'm going to do more of a close-up to my eyes so you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit better. So the first thing that I'm going to be using is the MAC Waveline Pro Longwear Fluid Line. So I'm going to use it as a base for my eye. So I'm just going to use a flat shader brush from Morphe, and I'm just going to apply this on my lid. So now I'm going to use my Sigma Blending E25 brush to just blend out the edges. We don't want any harsh edges. So now we're just going to apply a second coat of Waveline on my lid, because we did lose a little bit of that color since we're blending out. With my Morphe M504, I'm going to grab some brown taupey shades right here. These are all from Makeup Geek. So I'm going to be using Creme Brulee and Cocoa Bear into my crease because I want to warm this up. And technically with this type of look, all you really have to make sure is that you're blending out any harsh lines. Again, I'm just grabbing the same shades and just going back into the crease. I'm actually going to put a little bit of powder under my eye just because we're using blue. So I'm going to be using that same Laura Mercier. I'm just going to apply a little bit just in case. So now to intensify that blue, I am going to use the Kat Von D Metal and Matte palette, which looks like this. Okay, and I'm going to use that color right there. It's called Nebula. And I'm going to use just a flat shader brush again and just pat that color in to my lid. But now you're just going to grab that same fluffy brush and blend out. I'm actually going to use my Urban Decay Anniversary palette, and I'm going to use the color Evidence. I'm using that same flat shader brush and applying that to my lid. So yeah, when doing this look, make sure you are baking, because as you guys can see, I have so much fallout. And like I said, now we're just going to blend that out again. So now we're going to do the same thing to this eye. So right now, all I'm going to do is wipe away all of that bake that I applied on my face and all of that blue eyeshadow fallout. So now before I do my face, I'm going to do my eyebrows, and I'm going to be using my NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the color Black. I'll do a close-up as well to my brows so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm literally just doing hair strokes and underlining my brow. Brushing it out as well. Do the same thing for the other brow. Just little hair strokes. Don't be too harsh, because then it'll be really hard to get it to brush it out. So I just do light little hair strokes. I'm gonna really have to warm myself up because the blue just made me look so much more pale. So now I'm just gonna grab a concealer and just carve out my eyebrows. And I'm gonna use the Shape Tape concealer and just put some on the back of my hand, and then grab my concealer brush. This is just a regular schmegler brush, and just go on the bottom. Here I am using a Real Techniques detailer brush, and I'm just going to buff that concealer in. So now that you guys just saw what I did with this brow, I'm just gonna go and do this brow, so I'll be right back. Okay, so now that we're done with the brows, now let's go back to the face, and now we're gonna contour. I'm gonna be using my favorite brush to contour, this brush right here to contour, and I'm gonna use my favorite, the Fiona Styles sheer sculpting palette. Okay, so I'm just gonna use the middle shade to start contouring. As you can see, it's starting to warm up my face as well. Going back with the middle shade and the darkest shade as well. Right here by the hairline. Okay. Now I'm just going to grab a small amount of translucent powder and just place this underneath the contour just to clean it up a little. So now we're going to bronze up my face just a tad bit more. And here, this is where I'm going to be using another Morphe brush. This is more like a pointed, it doesn't have the number on it. It was just a brush set. So for bronzer, I'm going to be using the Sleep palette in the color Medium. And this is the Face Contour Kit. And it looks like this. So I'm just going to use a little bit of this. A little goes a long way with this product. So now let's come back to my eyes. So now I'm going to smoke up my under lash line, and I'm going to use the same brush that I was using to blend out the concealer under my eyebrows to do this. So I'm going to be using the Waveline, which was the base that I put on for my eyeshadow, and I'm just going to put this under my lash line. And now we're going to blend that out. Now I'm going to be using those same shades that I applied onto my eye, Nebula from the Kat Von D Matte and Metal palette, and just apply that to the eye as well, to the bottom lash line. And as you guys can see, I'm actually connecting it to the eyeshadow. Now I'm just going to wipe away any of that fallout. So now on top of the lid, I'm actually going to place another color, a little glitzy shadow, which is from ColourPop, and this is called Patchwork. And this is a Super Shock. And I'm actually just going to dab. As you guys can see, it's like very reflective. And I'm just going to place this on top of the eye. On the inner corner of my eye, I'm going to apply this Super Shock shadow from ColourPop. This is called Dare, and this is what it looks like. Hope you guys can see it's very reflective as well. So now I do the same thing with the other eye. And now on my inner corner, I'm just going to apply a little highlight just to open up the eye. So here I'm just grabbing the Sleek Makeup Highlighting Palette in Celeste. I'm just going to grab that shade right here. And I'm just going to apply that on the inner corner. And right here, I'm going to be using my favorite lashes. These are the Salon Perfect 614 lashes. They're one of my favorites. I'm going to use my Duo Brush On Adhesive. And we're just going to let that dry and get a little tacky. So now I'm going to apply the other one. Okay, so now I'm just going to apply some mascara just to blend my lashes with the false lashes. And I'm going to be using the Colossal Big Shot Mascara from Maybelline. And then I'm just going to apply a little bit on my lower lashes. And then the same thing for the other eye. So now we're just gonna wipe away that bake under our contour. So today I'm going to be using the Milani Luminoso, which is like an orangey, peachy blush. Okay, and now for lips, I'm going to go with a very nude color. I'm going to be using, I think this is called Birthday Suit from Tarte. I think this would be perfect for this look. I love that. This is called Fab. I'm just going to put this in the middle. And the last but not least, I'm going to apply highlight. I'm going to be using one of my favorites, and this is the Jeffree Star in Peach Goddess. And this is one of my favorite highlighters ever. I'm just going to dip my fan brush in here and apply this right there. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the final look. I hope you guys love it. Here's a close-up on the eyes. I'm in love with this look. I know this is very different from what I usually do. I usually steer for gold and browns, but I really wanted to steer out of my comfort zone. So I went ahead and did this Cobalt Blue Smoky Eye. It's very, very sultry and sexy, and it makes brown eyes pop out even more. It really does complement brown eyes. So if you guys did love this look, go ahead and press that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and be a part of my little familia, because I will be putting out more videos and I know you guys are gonna love them. So thank you for watching. Have a great night.